Imagine walking along a beautiful rocky shore on the Pacific coast. You would normally see amazing tide pools teeming with life. Colorful sea stars, also known as starfish, would be clinging to the rocks, their arms spread out like jewels. They are some of the most iconic and beloved animals of the ocean. These creatures are not just pretty to look at, they are incredibly important for the health of their entire ecosystem. They are a keystone species, which means that many other plants and animals depend on them for survival. Without them, the delicate balance of the ocean food web can be thrown into complete chaos, creating a chain reaction that affects everyone. Starting around 2013, a strange and horrifying event began to unfold. All along the coast, from Mexico all the way up to Alaska, these beautiful sea stars started to vanish. Billions of them simply disappeared. It was a shocking and mysterious plague, unlike anything scientists had ever seen in the ocean before. People who had spent their whole lives by the sea noticed that the once common stars were gone. It was like a forest, suddenly losing all of its most important trees. This massive die-off was given a name that sounded as scary as it was: sea star wasting disease. It was a true apocalypse for these incredible marine invertebrates. This wasn't just a small, localized problem. It was the largest disease event ever recorded for a wild marine animal that isn't commercially fished. The sheer scale of the die-off was staggering. The most heavily impacted species was the magnificent sunflower sea star, a giant predator with up to 24 arms that can move surprisingly fast across the seafloor. Its population plummeted by over 90%, a catastrophic loss that pushed this once abundant animal to the brink of extinction. The mystery deepened as scientists scrambled to figure out what was causing this widespread devastation, leaving an empty, eerie silence in the tide pools where these stars once thrived. For over a decade, the cause of this devastating illness remained a frustrating puzzle. Scientists had many theories but struggled to find a definitive answer. Some suspected a virus was the culprit, while others pointed to warming ocean temperatures or pollution as potential triggers. They needed to find the smoking gun, the specific pathogen responsible for turning healthy sea stars into piles of goo. The search was urgent because without understanding the enemy, there was no way to fight back. The clock was ticking, and with every passing year, the hope of seeing these vibrant stars return to our coasts was fading fast. After years of intense investigation and many false leads, scientists finally had a breakthrough. In a landmark study published in August of 2025, a team of dedicated researchers announced they had identified the true killer. It was not a virus, as many had previously thought. Instead, the culprit was a tiny, single-celled organism, a bacterium named Vibrio Pectenicida. This discovery was a huge moment for marine biology. As one expert, Dr. Hugh Carter, put it, knowing what was actually causing the disease was a critical first step. It brought an end to over 10 years of uncertainty and gave scientists a clear target to focus on for the first time. The way this bacterium harms the sea stars is truly gruesome. The disease, sea star wasting disease, causes the animal's body to literally fall apart. It starts with white lesions appearing on their skin. Then, their arms begin to twist and curl unnaturally before detaching from their central body. In the final, heartbreaking stages, the sea star's tissues essentially dissolve, turning the animal into a pile of mush. This rapid decay is caused by the Vibrio bacteria invading the sea star's body and releasing toxins that break down its tissues from the inside out, leading to a swift and certain death. Confirming that Vibrio Pectenicida was the cause was a difficult task. Scientists found that the bacteria did not remain in the sea star's bodies after they died, which explained why it had been so hard to find. The key was to look at living, sick sea stars. Researchers carefully extracted the internal fluid, which is like the blood of a sea star, and analyzed it. They found high concentrations of the bacteria. To prove it was the cause, they conducted experiments in the lab. They exposed 20 healthy sunflower sea stars to the bacteria. Tragically, 19 of the 20 sea stars developed the disease and died, confirming that this tiny bacterium was indeed the killer. Interestingly, Vibrio bacteria are not always villains. They are a natural and common part of marine environments all around the world. Many types of Vibrio are actually helpful, playing an important role in breaking down organic matter and recycling nutrients in the ocean. However, some strains like Vibrio Pectenicida are opportunistic pathogens. This means they can become extremely dangerous under certain conditions. Factors like rising ocean temperatures, which we see more of with climate change, can make these bacteria more aggressive and make sea stars more vulnerable to infection, creating the perfect storm for a devastating epidemic. The disappearance of the sea stars, especially the predator sunflower sea star, set off a dramatic and destructive chain reaction in the ocean. Sea stars are voracious predators of sea urchins. With their main hunter gone, the sea urchin population exploded. Suddenly, there was nothing to keep their numbers in check. These spiny, purple creatures began to multiply at an incredible rate, forming vast armies that moved across the seafloor. They became the new rulers of the coastal ecosystem. But their reign was a destructive one. The ocean floor, once a diverse and colorful landscape, became carpeted with these hungry herbivores. Sea urchins have a massive appetite for one thing in particular: kelp. The huge urchin populations began to graze relentlessly on the giant kelp forests that line the Pacific coast. These underwater forests are some of the most productive and important ecosystems on the planet. The urchins chewed through the base of the kelp stalks, detaching the towering plants from the sea floor and causing them to float away and die. Vast, dense forests that provided food and shelter for countless species were mowed down, leaving behind barren, empty landscapes known as urchin barrens. It was an ecological collapse happening right beneath the waves. This loss of the kelp forest is a catastrophe for the entire ocean community. Kelp forests are like the rainforests of the sea. They act as nurseries for young fish, providing a safe place for them to grow. They offer shelter for otters, sea lions, and thousands of other marine animals. They also protect coastlines from storm surges by slowing down powerful waves. Furthermore, kelp is a powerhouse at absorbing carbon dioxide, helping to fight climate change. When the kelp forests disappear, all of these vital services disappear with them. This threatens important fisheries that people rely on for food and jobs. We have seen similar stories on land. The loss of sea stars is much like what happened when wolves were removed from Yellowstone National Park. Without the wolves to hunt them, the elk population boomed and overgrazed the willow and aspen trees. This damaged the rivers and harmed many other species. Reintroducing the wolves helped restore the balance. In the ocean, the sea star was the wolf. Its disappearance has shown us just how connected everything is in an ecosystem. The loss of one key species can unravel the entire fabric of life, turning a vibrant world into a desolate wasteland. Now that scientists have finally identified Vibrio Pectenicida as the enemy, the fight to save the sea stars can begin in earnest. Knowing the cause allows for much more targeted conservation efforts. One of the most hopeful initiatives is the establishment of captive breeding programs. At places like the Seattle Aquarium, scientists are working to raise healthy sunflower sea stars in a safe, controlled environment, far away from the dangers of the open ocean. These programs are creating a genetic arc, preserving the species and building up a population that can one day be returned to the wild. The ultimate goal of these breeding programs is to reintroduce healthy sea stars back into the ocean to help restore the lost balance. However, scientists are being very careful. They cannot simply release the new sea stars without a plan. They are studying which individuals might have a natural resistance to the bacteria. By selectively breeding these stronger sea stars, they hope to create a future generation that is better equipped to survive in a world where Vibrio Pectenicida is present. It is a slow and painstaking process, but it represents the best chance for bringing these iconic predators back to their rightful place. Alongside these efforts, researchers are also looking for natural refuges where some sea star populations have managed to survive. Recent studies in 2025 found that certain deep cold-water fjords have provided a safe haven for some sunflower sea stars. Understanding what makes these areas protective, whether it is the colder water that slows bacterial growth or something else, can help guide restoration efforts. Conservationists can focus on protecting these refuge sites and use them as starting points for reintroducing new sea stars, giving them a better shot at survival and recovery in the wild. The road to recovery will be long and challenging. Restoring an entire ecosystem is a monumental task. The sea star apocalypse was a powerful and tragic lesson in how fragile our planet's natural systems are and how quickly they can collapse. But with new scientific knowledge and the dedicated work of conservationists, there is a glimmer of hope on the horizon. The fight is on to restore the kelp forests, bring back the sea stars, and return the vibrant, beautiful balance to the Pacific Ocean. It is a reminder that we all have a role to play in protecting our incredible underwater world.